you from the city, I had to ask this question because obviously this sparks up a lot of conversation if you're on Facebook, anything like that, man. In your opinion, to you, you know what I'm saying? This ain't nobody else. Who the best athlete to come through Rock Hill, South Carolina? In your eyes, and I know
Cordarelle
you might be
Patterson.
biased. Okay, go ahead.
Cordarelle Patterson. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
gonna be biased.
yeah, so why you say Cordarelle Patterson? And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of CP. See him,
I just seen him like just practicing with somebody and like being with him every day, like
yeah,
seeing how the natural God given abilities, like stuff you be like, God, Lee, like what I'm saying? Like
mm-hmm,
I think he sent me something today in high school, like one of his clips. And I was like, man, it's just crazy. And then you just look back now, it was like,
yeah,
it looked normal back then, but now you looking at the film, you looking like, man, that's crazy. Like
word,
how he's doing that stuff, like you know what I mean. So
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna be biased because we got so many athletes, like all of them, like goats in their own different ways, like and
yeah,
state championships. We got record-breaking quarterbacks and record-breaking linebackers and DBs and all kinds of stuff, man.
yeah.
So I mean, everybody gonna have their own little, who they think the best.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, we talking some major boss talk today, man. Somebody from the hometown got to chop it up with. Didn't even know we was, that tight. Our people was that tight.
Yeah.
Super glad we was able to connect, reach out, and really just be able to sit down because I know we both been busy and we both just had a lot of stuff going on, so we just been ripping and running. But before I get into my top tier guest I got here, let me give y'all the rundown on them. All right, so I got Nigel Dixon, age 31, business manager / accounting. He's been in the game for 6 to 7 years, so he's coming up on a decade with just pure game, pure knowledge on just his scope of expertise. And we're going to sit down with him and break it down and really get into how he got into his career and his journey on how he has gotten to where he is. But before we start, man, Nigel, man, say what's up to the podcast, bro.
What's up? What's up? Big Boss Talk. What's up?
What's good? What's good? We glad to have you, man. So before we start, we're going to get into two truths and a lie, all right? So you're going to give me, so this is the caveat. So it's two truths and a lie or an embarrassing moment. Nigel chose the embarrassing moment, so I'm ready to hear because I'll be ready to know.
Because I couldn't think. I couldn't really think. I mean, I ain't want to do nothing just basic, two truths. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I really don't have a lot of embarrassing moments, but the only time I can remember is I just remember one time playing sandlot football. I just remember running like real hard after a pass or something, or running, trying to tackle somebody or whatever, man. And I ran straight into the light pole. Ran straight into the light pole, man. And I remember, man, really just seeing like birds flying around my head, like
not the cartoon.
Like I blacked out for a minute. And I was so embarrassed after that, man. But the boys was like, man, we thought you were gone, man. But nah, it was all good. But I was embarrassed, but it's all good. I don't have too many embarrassing moments, but that I can just recall right off the top of my head. But I know there's one for sure.
For sure, man. I think I done something stupid like that too, man. But mine ain't really hitting no light pole. Mine falling in the ditch. So you know what I'm saying. You gotta be careful out here, man. You can get caught up any kind of way. But we appreciate that, man. The embarrassing moment. But before we start, we got a couple of questions for you, man. So obviously you from the city. I had to ask this question because obviously this sparks up a lot of conversation if you're on Facebook, anything like that, man. In your opinion, to you, you know what I'm saying. This ain't nobody else. Who the best athlete to come through Rock Hill, South Carolina? In your eyes, and I know you might be biased. Okay, go ahead.
Patterson, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be biased.
Yeah. So why you say Cordarelle Patterson? And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of CP. See him.
I just seen him like just practicing with somebody and like being with him every day, like
Yeah.
seeing how the natural God given abilities, like stuff, you be like, God, Lee, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think he sent me something today in high school, like one of his clips. And I was like, man, it's just crazy. And then you just look back now, it was like, you know,
Yeah.
it looked normal back then, but now you looking at the film, you looking like, man, it's crazy. Like,
Word.
how he's doing that stuff, like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be biased because we got so many athletes, like all of them, like goats in their own different ways, like, and you know,
Yeah.
state championships. We got record-breaking quarterbacks and record-breaking linebackers and DBs and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, everybody gonna have their own little, you know, who they think the best, you know.
For sure. That's that. I just wanted to hear it from you, man. I already know. I was like, this is a easy. I don't even know why I'm answering this question, but I know it's gonna be easy. But you know, I definitely see from your point of view, man, being able to watch somebody do things at a younger age, and then also now, years later, you know, be able to see the journey, be able to see going to JUCO, going to Tennessee, and then doing everything he's doing. You could definitely see that, and I understand your answer. But we'll move on to the next question. What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned in life?
Just kind of taking it day by day, knowing what you want out of life, having a vision, having good people around you.
Word. And I guess how you come across like those lessons, you know what I'm saying? Was there things that might have, happened along the way that, kind of just taught you your mindset of just like, just take it as, one day at a time. Don't try to think too far ahead and don't think, in the past, because obviously we can't change nothing in the past. But what kind of like, is there any situation that just got you thinking like that?
Not any particular situation, just like I say, like my parents, they always kind of told me, like, I'm the baby of the family, like pretty much on both sides. As far as like my whole like cousins and all that, like I'm pretty much the baby on almost both sides. I think on my dad's side, I think it's a few people after me, but like pretty much the baby. So like I was able to learn from a lot of people's mistakes. You know what I mean? Like they always told me don't go through the same thing you see everybody else going through. Like learn from learn from them, like learn from their mistakes. So that's basically like how I run my life. Like I try to learn from other people's mistakes. So I won't do the same thing. Right. But a lot of times, we get caught into a lot of temptations and a lot of, we make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect.
Facts. I think that's true, man. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've always been the person that I ain't really got to go through the fire to know that it's hot. You know what I mean? Exactly. I can see somebody else go through that fire and be like, well, I ain't about to do what you finna do. You know what I'm saying? I got to find a different route or a different outcome to how I can get to the solution. So I definitely agree. Just being able to take it day by day and just really understanding, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I just feel like you can get overwhelmed, really, if you start thinking too far in advance. Exactly. It's just like, you just got to take it as it comes. And then my last question is, what's the most rewarding thing about what you do on a day-to-day basis? Because we're going to get into what you do, but, like, what's the most, rewarding thing?
Meeting different families, building a relationship with these different families, and then seeing like my hard work, them managing their money and managing their business affairs, and just seeing the looks on their faces when, we get them to zero to a certain point, and, being able to guide them through those journeys, just those experiences, being able to be around and being able to see like life-changing moments.
Got it. I mean, that's huge, man. Just as far as like the relationships, I feel like, you're dealing with a huge part, in people's life, like the financial aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a huge part that people will entrust in you to kind of, help develop and grow. And obviously they have to go through a vetting process themselves on like why to, go with you guys, why to choose you. You know what I mean? And so you got to have some type of charisma about yourself, be able to present yourself in a way that, relates to the athlete and be able to relate to these family members. So, I mean, with that being said, I do want to kind of go into the conversation, bro. Like, I know where you are right now and what you're doing, but what did you actually want to be? You know what I'm saying? Growing up, like going through high school or middle school, what did you think you were going to be?
I honestly didn't know, man. I knew I was going to be doing something with business and getting some kind of bread, getting some kind of paper. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to be some kind of CEO, some kind of, I want to be a leader, like, because like we say, going back to sports again, I was a point guard, so I always, kind of help run the show a little bit, being a coach on the floor. So that's just, I kind of wanted that to translate into my business life and my career. So no, I knew I wanted to do something with business, just not exactly what, what I mean? Of course, we always want to be an athlete, go pro, or, what I'm saying, go overseas, go NBA. But, I ended up 5'9", about 160, man. I ain't going too far, you know what I mean? So I had that realization kind of early, than y'all boys did. Y'all made it a good farther than I did. So, and so I had to go to that realization a little earlier, which was kind of better sometimes,
Yeah, I mean I think that's a struggle that everybody kind of deal with. Like, even myself, like I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't never take anything for granted. Like just being able to play college ball was a blessing in itself, man. Just because how hard it is and how slim. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you think growing up in Rock Hill, you entitled to go. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You playing ball, you entitled to go to college and play ball. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different situations and variables that play into it. But how would you be able to? Because coming to that realization might be the first business decision you had to make. You know what I'm saying? As far as like your career and like what you wanted to do, because you could have easily said, "I'm 5'9", 160, but I can compete with the best." Like hooping or whatever, you could have had that ambition to still go further. But how was that, I guess, the realization? Was it an easy process to come across? Or?
It was fairly easy. Like I say, coming from Rock Hill, playing with, elite players on the football side, and then even on the basketball side, I played I actually didn't even graduate in Rock Hill. I graduated from school. Exactly. I graduated from school in North Carolina. I went to a prep school, played basketball my last 2 years.
That's crazy.
So I was like playing with I was playing with like John Wall was in my conference, so I had to see him like 2 or 3 times a year.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Like we had some, like when I went over there, we had some, it was like football in Rock Hill, but on the basketball side. So that's what I'm saying. I had both of them. But that's when I came to that realization.
Yeah. Hey, going against John Wall.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we only lost to him by 6, 2 times. 2 times we lost to him by 6 points. I played well and I guarded him pretty much the whole game. I mean, he did his thing on me. He the number 1 pick for a reason.
Yeah.
But when you see 6'5" point guard, 6'6" point guard, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's done. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's really levels to everything you're doing.
For sure.
So, you get to the realization quick, and like I said, I got good mentors, and I found good mentors, and from there it was on. And you can see like who getting the bread, like you know what I mean, like. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm about. Like, I'm trying to be able to generate wealth for my kid, you know what I mean, for my family, So I ain't really worried about like clout playing football, basketball, like all that, like So I'm trying to get this bread. I'm trying to put something on the table.
Right, and the way you said that is like, I mean, it's real. Like you can see who getting the money. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people still be in that mindset of just like, man, or what they what they used to be, right? And that's cool. Like to always remember, bring up those battles. But at the end of the day, as a man, as a person, female, male. If you got kids or you just trying to provide for yourself, like that's the goal. Like the goal is to win. I think I heard Chauncey Billups was like, you know what I'm saying? If I had 18 points and you had 28, but at the end of the game I won, so that's a dub in my book. Like I dominated you. So it's all about the win and just, being able to provide for your people and just, the bigger perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the clout and all that good stuff. It's just about like when it come down to the bottom line, who up and who ain't, you know what I mean? And that's what it kind of boiled down to. So did you go, after high school or whatever, you got done with ball, did you go to college? Did you do a stint of time, extra schooling?
Yeah, no, for sure. As soon as I left out of, like I say, I left Northwestern in my 11th grade year, and I went to a prep school in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And like, I don't know if you know, like what all these kids doing now, like reclass. And then, like, I did that 10, like I was doing that 10. I did that 10 years ago. People ain't even know what it was. Like, I was doing that a long time ago. Because I played, like I said, I played for an AAU team called Team United, and They're Nike. They on the Nike circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So like once I got out there, that my exposure was just different, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about, and it just kind of went on from there because that's when I started meeting people, and I started opening my eyes, seeing different things.
So then, where did
I answer your question?
Now, I was going to ask you where you go to school, like your college. I know you did. You know, you got your 150 hours as far as like with your CPA.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that.
Well, for my college.
Yeah.
I as soon as I left and like, okay, I went to York Tech and took some classes for a while.
Okay.
While I was kind of still doing the prep thing, like so I can get ahead.
Yeah.
And, after that, I got in contact with Winter's coach, Coach Kelsey, and he was like, you know what, they was down some guards, like, I think one of them like towards the ACL, and one of them was having surgery. So he was like asking me that I want to come walk on for the year and like just try it out.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, you know what I mean.
Heck yeah.
And this you know what I'm saying. Yeah, like, this was like while I was still kind of taking my classes at York Tech. So I really was just kind of practicing and stuff. But so for that whole year, I was just practicing. Then I eventually that next semester I had got to Winthrop full time, and you know I was full time practicing and everything like that. So I was just kind of walking on. I didn't get to dress out because I didn't come that whole year.
Yeah.
So, but they still they was needing guards like just to help them out with in practice and all that. So I still did it. But after that, I just felt like, I don't waste my time. I could have stayed on and got on the roster, but I was like, man, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. And I at that point, I had met my mentor that I started interning for.
Okay.
He's a tax attorney.
Word.
And at that time I didn't know I was gonna be an accountant. I was still like majoring in communications or something like that.
Yeah.
So I met him and he kind of put me on game, like what to do. Like he was like, I was looking at him, like I said, you can see who like, living their life, like, how they want to live it and, riding around nice. Because at first, that's what we see first.
That's what you see at first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ain't going to get it confused. Like, you only believe 10% of what you see, but at the same time, when you growing up and you starting to figure it out, you got to go off what you see first. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So he kind of put me on game, and I was wanting to be a lawyer at first, and he was like, "Nah, like you need to be an accountant." And I was like, I ain't really know what it was. Like, I'm like, what is that? Like, like I knew it had to do something with money. I'm thinking they work at the bank.
Yeah, I don't know too many accountants.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't know none.
Yeah,
like, I ain't know none.
At that time, you probably ain't know none.
Yeah, I ain't know none at that time. So I'm like, what is this, my sophomore year in college? So I'm like, okay. And he was like, man, you might as well go ahead and change it because you're in your sophomore year. Okay. Like, if you need to make up some more classes, like, you probably won't have to make up that many. You know what I mean? You'll have to, you still ain't like your basic courses. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I changed it, and I think I had to take maybe 1 or 2 classes or something, past them. And, man, when I got into it, man, I loved it. Yeah. Like, I loved it because I always loved, how money works. My parents, my dad, like, he always talk about, like, how money works and, like, always watching on CNBC. Like, he always watching stock market and stuff like that. So I had the basic knowledge, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know because he was already feeding it to me. You know what I mean? He was already feeding it to me when I was young, when I wasn't even wanting to listen to that stuff. Like, he was already feeding it in my head. So I owe him a whole lot. For just giving me the basic knowledge. And like I say, when I got with my mentor and intern for him, because he was a tax attorney, he kind of just put me on game, and I went from there.
So I guess you could say, before we go any further, I guess you could say the mentor, kind of played a huge role in, how things projected for you. Like how, I guess because I'm trying to, I want to get game to the kids and let them understand, like, obviously, you know what I'm saying, doing the schooling is great, having that degree and everything in your hand. It's going to allow you into some of those doors that you probably wouldn't get in without it. But having a mentor be able to guide you, like, just help you be like, hey, you want to do it now, because if you get too far, you're going to have to take all these classes over. You know what I'm saying? How important is it? How important is it that you would say for other kids to find a mentor at an early age?
Man, it's vital. Like, it's vital to your success on that, especially that foundation. Because I know where we from, and like, you know, just black people in general, like we don't like have a lot of people to ask, like, you know,
Bruh.
what's that? Like, to this day, I still don't have a lot of people to ask, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Left was right, you know, in a lot of aspects. But I'm still learning, and right now, you know, everything you can look it up, you can Google anything right now, and you can train yourself. So, that mentor is vital. Like you gotta have a mentor.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
It's super important, man. That's one of the things that I kind of like. I search for and I kind of look for. Is like, you know what I'm saying, a mentor. That's doing in the lane that I'm in, trying to go as far as I'm trying to take it. Like I know it's people out there that I could probably, you know what I'm saying, pay to be a mentor. But I honestly don't. I want relationships to be genuine. You know what I mean? Like I don't really believe in like paying for a service. I'd rather just, if I know you're gonna cool with you, let me rock with you, and we can build a relationship, and I'm not gonna probably, I'm gonna ask some questions, but if I'm with you, like I can just see how you move and like the plays you making, and I'm gonna do it the same way. Like that's how I learn. So when you talk about having a mentor, it's like, man, I wish I had like a mentor or somebody I could just, you know, would have chopped it up with and be like, man, how you take it the way you want to take it without having like a big household name yet. You know what I mean? Like you gotta build that name up. So I think to anybody that's listening, watching, like having a mentor is important. And we got guys like, you know, like you know, females that always talk about having a mentor and how when they got their mentor, it was just like things started just to work in their favor and just kind of, they had more of a better direction on where they wanted to go. So that's hard. But okay, so then we done with school, mentor got us right, put us on game about accounting. Like what's the next step? As far as like, what did you do after graduating?
After I graduated from Winthrop, before I graduated from Winthrop, like right before I was graduating, I knew I needed to go to grad school because I needed to get those 150 hours to be a CPA. And so I was just applying to grad schools. I got accepted into Coastal, Clemson, and USC.
Oh, that's hard.
And I chose Clemson.
Clemson. So, why you chose Clemson, man?
Honestly, man, because when I was talking to them, they kind of like felt like they kind of wanted me to be there. You know what I mean? Like they was gonna help me. You know, just the whole. It just felt organic. It just felt right.
The relationship was a little better.
Yeah, the relationship was a little better. It just felt right, and I liked the plan they had set out for me to get my 150 hours. Because, like I said, I kind of knew like what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
With this, like I kind of knew, and before I got there, I was reaching out to like CPAs that already worked with athletes, that already worked with entertainers, but also had like another book of business, so they knew everything.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a CPA firm out here in Arizona. He was already working with athletes. He already had like an athlete association for like financial advisors and accountants. So I joined that and got a relationship with him. So that was like another mentor for me.
Yeah.
While I was at Clemson, you know, that I can just ask questions, you know, just, you know, about the industry.
For sure.
And, so after Winthrop, I just went on to Clemson, got my 150 hours. It was like 11-month program. But while I was there, my mentor passed away, the tax accountant. So I had a rough year. I think my grandma passed away that year too. Like it was a real, real rough year, but I got through it.
Yeah.
So, I went to Clemson, and after that, that was my schooling part of, and that was it for school.
Yeah. What kept you on track, bro? Like, I mean, going through the mental capacity of obviously losing a mentor, then losing your grandma, like, I know that's deep. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, especially while you know, young, you focusing, you not at home, but you know, you can't touch them. You know what I mean? Like, so how was that for you? Like, how did you get through that time? Was it just a motivation of yours, or just
God?
Yeah.
Praying a lot, asking God to show me like the way, you know what I mean? Show me what you want me to do. I remember praying, asking God, show me what you want me to do. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just follow whatever you tell me to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, I think I know that helped a lot. My parents, My girlfriend, she helped a lot. Just like I say, my team, like just my supporting cast, like my friends, I got real good friends. They helped a lot. So, and then I just knew like ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
ain't
that's
nobody
real.
gonna feel sorry
That's
for you.
real.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta get up. You know what I mean? You gotta get up and get to it. So
Yeah, that's
that's
real,
what I
man.
did.
Especially like now, like, cause I know a lot that's going on right now, like especially in the climax that we in, like that they talk about mental health, like that's a huge thing now.
No,
But
for sure.
but at the end of the day, like, and you know what I'm saying, like mental health is a real thing, but at the same time, when you really think about it, don't nobody really feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? Like
No,
it's crazy to think about like how you gotta be, you know, you got to be like conscious about what you say about mental health because we know people deal with that. But at the same time, it be situations like that that you go through, losing somebody close or losing a mentor, and then you in your mentality is like, you know, obviously I know I can lean on God. I got God for sure. But it's like, who really gonna feel sorry for me? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna come in here and finish these 150 hours for me? Like,
exactly. And I kind of and like I realized that because what made me realize nobody was gonna feel sorry for me because when I got back to Clemson, I mean, and it ain't no knock on them. It's just when I talk to them about it, I just ain't feel like
the love or
I
yeah,
ain't
like the
feel. I'm like,
compassion,
man,
like
yeah, I ain't feel it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Ain't no knock on them because I mean,
they don't know him. You know what I'm
they don't
saying?
know me. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
man.
saying? I ain't, but I was like, okay, that's how that's how it is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I gotta get right. And I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did go to therapy. But I only went like 3 or 4 times. Like I probably should have went more. I know I should have went more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I only went like 3 or 4 times because I was working. I was still in school. I still had to do all that, and then I was staying in Greenville, so I had to drive to therapy like an hour to Clemson. So I'm like, nah, I ain't. You know what I mean? I ain't got time. I didn't have time for it. So
that's crazy.
So
that's crazy. We was probably in Greenville at the same time because I went to a small school out there, North Greenville University. Was out there, and then I did a little extent for a little while, but you probably was gone after you had hit them hours and went to Arizona. But you know what I'm saying? Why Arizona, man? How you get all the way from Clemson? You know what I'm saying? You in the middle of nowhere in Clemson. To be honest.
And I think we was in Greenville at the same time because you played with Deontay, didn't you?
Yeah, Deontay. You know Deontay?
Yeah, we work together.
Okay, bet. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
I know that crazy, boy.
Yeah, he crazy for sure.
That's my dog. That's my dog.
Yeah, that's my dog.
But nah, I got to Arizona. Remember, I told you I was reaching out to him when I was at Winthrop.
Yep.
Like the same CPA that I was talking to. That's why I'm partnered with now. And that's why I work for on his side of with like all our normal clients. You know, he mentored me on that side so I can get an understanding of every industry. I don't want to just stick in just athletes and entertainment. I want to know like construction. I want to know real estate. I want to know restaurants. I want to know anything that I can help people with. I want to know it. So I needed to go to a CPA firm that did everything.
That's hard. Okay, so then now we into like I was really wanting to get into this. So I mean, obviously, I know you work with the athletes and things of that nature. Like, what makes you good at? You know, can you first of all give me a brief description of what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then also, you know, what is it like? You know what I'm saying? Like being able to work with these athletes. I see you flying to like different workouts and just being there beside them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you do every day? Like, just give people, like, so people want to know, like, how you get to work with athletes. What are you doing? Like, I want to know that. Like, what we doing every day?
Like I say, like, from the start, I use those relationships. And, like, I watched one of your interviews with the other tax accountant.
Yeah, my boy Blair.
Yeah, your boy Blair. I want to holler at him, too, when I get a chance. But, I like that route, nothing against it, but I kind of like knew like I knew all these guys that needed help. Like I got relationships at Clemson, and then like it's another guy that lives in Clemson, my boy Alonzo. Like he's a great relationship builder, and he he was like, man, all of them was like, when you get out of school, like like you make it help us, like, you know what I mean? Like all of them kind of interested in it. They ain't lock in all the way, but you know, they kind of was like, you know, they had an ear to it. So I kind of, like I said, I went to out here and I wanted to have a partnership because I wanted to own my clients.
Okay.
I wanted to have ownership in what I brought in.
Got you. So what was the I guess the mindset, like how would somebody else would do it? Like, because you were thinking more like ownership, like I want to have a say so in my clients, but other people might they would have joined maybe a practice and only would have maybe helped the clients, like they just wouldn't have owned them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they might. I'm not sure. I know a lot of times when you go to a firm, you know, you're not gonna own the people. They might give you a little bonus, you know what I mean? They might give you, you know, a little raise or whatever, and you know, but you might not be hands on with your guys. Like they might be. The owner might be. You know what I mean? They might be hands on with them, but you know, you the one really bring them in. Them are your relationships. So why not you own your clients? So that's what I brought here, and that's why I came out here. You know what I mean? Because it gave me the chance to you know, not only, you know, work in the accounting practice in an accounting firm, but also had this entrepreneur side to it too.
Yeah.
And I can be hands on, and I can fly, I can travel with my guys, and I could be kind of the quarterback. I could be running the show.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I came to Arizona.
That's hard. So, I mean, the practice that you work for, if I'm not mistaken, it's called StarCrossManagement.
Yeah, that's what I work. My LLC that I have the partnership with. That's StarCrossManagement. But what he owns, his own side of what our regular clients is Miller Woman CPAs. Okay. So that's our regular clients as far as they ain't regular, but you know, small business owners. You know, small business owners. But the StarCross side is the partnership I have with the CPA.
Got you. And so how did you know who put you on game to like start the LLC, and is this just something, you know what I'm saying? This is just
I watch a lot of podcasts, bro. Like, I watch a lot of like Dame. I watch a lot of Kanye. I watch a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of music. Like I listen to all that stuff. Money Man. Like I just listen to a lot of, you know, entrepreneur rap and entrepreneur podcast. Like that's why when you came out with this, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna tune in because I like listening to different careers, you know, and different industries. So I just listen to a lot of that stuff because that stuff it's gonna teach you that stuff life. Like it's just real.
That's what's up. I mean, it's cool because I want people to understand. Like, to be honest, like I always think to myself, is like, bro, I'm a regular human being, bro. I ain't nothing special about me. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like sometimes, like, there's certain ones that just had the grit, the ambition to be more than just, you know, you know what I'm saying? Just to go get more. And I feel like that's your same path. Like, you know what I'm saying? You a regular guy, but your mind is on a different level, or just always want to learn. And then also not only learning, but applying what you're learning. Because, you know, obviously, you know, you got StarCrossManagement. You got some top guys under there. If I'm not mistaken, you got obviously Cordarelle Patterson. I see you work with Shaq, Lawson, and a plethora of other guys, and things like that. So when you're talking to when you're building these relationships, how do you gain clients? Is it more referral based? Is it you maybe tapping in with them? Like, how are you gaining clients? And, you know,
it's been a little bit of both. Okay. It started off just like I say, organic. Like, first, cause when Cordarelle first coming out, like I didn't initially like just start doing their taxes. Like, I didn't initially just start doing it. Like, he just kind of was like, bro, like, I'm going into all these rooms. Like, you can go with me. Like, you know what I mean? That's so hard. Like, kind of had to gain that trust, and had to, you know, he had to realize this is something that I'm really gonna be doing. I'm really serious about it. So that's how I end up kind of doing his taxes. And, you know, with Shaq's kind of same way. Me and Shaq actually lived together for like a year.
Out there in Clemson?
In Arizona. Oh, because he trains out here. Okay. Yeah, he trains out here. So we live together, and like I just do a lot. Help him do a lot. He helped me with my career, you know, helping get me other clients. He had a logo and a whole, like, you know, his whole marketing part of it. I was a part of that. So I was just very grateful. And, I always tell them boys, like, I owe them a lot, because they really helped me flip my relationships. And then with other players seeing me with them, they obviously gonna, what he doing, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can help me with that. And that's just how it kind of flipped.
Yeah. And no, I mean, obviously, being an athlete, athletes, it's nothing like, obviously being an African American, being a pro athlete, coming into some money, you know what I'm saying? We don't always know how to, delegate the money or spend money, or how to, what's some of the loopholes within the system and the game to where it benefits us.
Right.
And I think seeing somebody like you that look like you, come from the same background as most of these guys, to be able to earn that trust, the relationship got to be a little different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk to Carl the way I talk to Nigel, like, hey,
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, well, we got, what's going on? Like, what we got?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different. And I know that's something that you probably take pride in, man. But when you sit down, like, with a new client, what's some of the things that you go over or highlight for the client?
First off, I like to see if anybody has set them like a LLC up and stuff like that. We like to, have a nice structure for them for when they, start getting the money in. And that's just like, that's on the financial side of things, away from just, getting to know them as a person, getting to know the family. But like I say, like on the financial side of things, I like to, set up the LLC or S corp for all my guys, and that's for liability issues, and that's for get tax advantages from that. So and that's the little stuff like that, giving them game on just anything, setting up bank accounts, like I said, getting the EIN numbers and budgeting, because a lot of us is gonna be new to this money, or most of us are new to money, and once we get it, it's gone, and a lot of them look at their checks and call me a lot of times like, dang, brother, the Fed took out this, like, why? Like, and I have to explain it, like, you taxed at the highest tax rate right now. Like, so, it's, it's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? It's other ways that, like you say, if they get their marketing, like I say, if they get their marketing money, a lot of that is not taxed at all. In the beginning, it's taxed in April. So, that's why we try to set up, LLCs and S corps for them to take advantage of the tax law.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Like, I feel like, obviously, you know what I'm saying, if you putting yourself on the line, you know what I mean? You making this money, it's a dirty game, man. I talk to people all the time just about, like, I was talking to my homie, DP, not too long ago. He was saying how, man, it's crazy how much taxes just get taken out. And I was just like, bro, like, it's a dirty game. He was like, man, and he was like, man, I got to get a raise and da-da-da-da. I'm like, bro, even when you get a raise, if you start moving into these different brackets, they're going to end up taking, it's going to be the same. Like, it's just like, it's going to be more. So it's like, we got to figure out how can we, what's the legal way to have ourselves structurally set up properly to where we can keep most of our money and be able to benefit from these tax laws. You know what I mean? And I think people like you know what I'm saying, being able to provide that game and be able to give it to us in layman's terms. Because I'll be honest, when you talk about tax stuff like that, some of that stuff just be over the head. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's easy because I mean, it's a foreign language. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to study, and something that you have to put time in to learn. So that's why I do what I do, because I saw the lane. I saw that lane that that was something that we needed in our community. So I'm trying to live it out. So I'm just trying to help everybody that I can.
That's what's up, man. So now I do want to ask this. So what's the, obviously I know traveling, being able to, to travel with your guys, build those relationships, those are some of the benefits. What are some of the hard things about your job? Because I don't want people to get it confused. And obviously, this job, it can look sexy, you know what I'm saying, doing all the travel. But what's some of the things that keep you up late at night that you be like, like I could have did better here? How do you get better? How do you critique yourself?
That's a good question. Some of the hard disadvantages, being away from my girl and my daughter. Like it's really hard, like getting on a plane and like not seeing them for a few days, and you know what I mean. It's real hard, and she calling me, and I'm hearing daddy, you know what I mean, on the FaceTime and stuff. So that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
The other one is just like when my guys go through their money, and sometimes they don't listen. Like, you know, I'm gonna tell them to do one thing, they do the other, or we might talk about it for a whole hour and they say they get it, and then
still don't get it.
Don't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So like, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. But like I say, I get a good relationship with them that I know, like, everybody is different. Like, some people I might have to text them like 3 or 4 times, like, do this, man, spend out of this account, don't do this. Like, you know, you got this coming in, you got this bill. Like, I got to text them all the time just to keep them alert.
Yeah.
And some of them, like, they kind of can do their own thing. Like, they mature enough, they at that level that they can kind of like, okay, just ask me questions when they need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just be a crutch for them, and, you know, and I just kind of feed in the knowledge that they don't know. Yeah. So everybody is different, but everybody, I tell you, all my guys, they trending in the right direction.
That's good. That's good. I mean, obviously, as the accountant, man, you want to see that. I guess that's kind of how you would gauge yourself, just making sure everybody's trending in the right direction, starting to get it, starting to understand some of the systems that's in place. And I was going to ask you, so I watch I Am Athlete, I watch The Pivot all the time. They always talk about, you know, athletes, you know, knowing your business. You know what I mean? Like, because they could be like, all right, I got a guy that handle that. I got a guy that do all that. Right. And they not focusing, you know what I'm saying, that something could be off, something could be not right because they're not paying attention. What do you guys offer as far as like StarCrossManagement? Do you like your guys to be more hands-on with you? Or is it like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna take this load off for you? You know, like what do you prefer to?
I like for them to be hands on with me. Like a lot of times, like right now, like my football players, they in season. So a lot of stuff that they doing, like, I kind of don't bother them with. You know, I want them to focus on football, like focus on getting that next deal. Yep. You know what I mean? So, but I still text them and I still talk to them about what's going on. But like, I don't like push them so much. Yeah, I don't bug them. But like off season, like, I'm always talking to them. Always, you know, during tax season, I'm always talking to them, showing them what we doing, like showing them why we doing this. You know, just kind of educating them on everything. So that's pretty much my method on that.
Super dope, super dope. What do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now, bro? Like, what's the vision?
I don't know. Just hopefully StarCross growing to something bigger than what it is now. And being able to employ people, be able to put people on, be able to like give back to Rock Hill, being able to come back and like when we do camps and stuff, like not only have like the athlete piece, have like the financial piece, because these kids are starting to get money earlier now. You know, they get NIL money and stuff like that now. So I got a few NIL clients now, so like that part of it is getting kind of crazy. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So like it's just giving back. In 5 to 7 years, hopefully, you know, having a beautiful family. You know, the fairy tale look.
Yeah, it's yours, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I'm shooting for, and you know, growing my company.
It's yours, man. You gonna get it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? We built different, man. That's all I can say, man. It's like, you know, whatever we put our mind to, whatever we think about, it's gonna come to fruition. We don't know when it's gonna happen, but as long as we keep doing the work, staying dedicated to the grind and the process, it's gonna all come and play a major part, man. And I wish nothing but success for you, bro. Like, I want to see you have all the athletes on some LeBron. I forgot who my man. Who he got?
You're talking about Rich Paul.
Rich Paul. Yeah. I want you to be on that status. Like, they coming to you. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be super dope, man. And can't wait to see it. As far as getting to these different athletes, because NIL is coming up, do y'all have a program or a process in place where y'all might tap in with maybe a college coach to be like, hey, do you have a few guys that are getting NIL deals? Is there any way I can interview them or vet them, or do they have to? Can't
It's
do
been
that.
kind of still organic, man. Like the first year, we had 3 players in the top 100 NIL. One of them was number 14, one of them was on the 16, one of them was in the 90s. Top NIL earners, and all of them. One of them came from Clemson. He was a football player. One of them was an Alabama basketball player. And the other one is plays for Florida. He's the quarterback for Florida. Gotcha. So, and all those came from referrals. For real, like all those came from referrals. Like, just kind of doing a good job with the NBA and the NFL players that I already had, and they just kind of came from referrals. Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Word. Well, listen, man. We done came up on almost on an hour, bro. The only last thing I do want to ask and just talk about, because you brought it up, is what are your thoughts on the NIL? Like, do you think obviously I think it's beneficial because you're getting paid for your name, image, and likeness, but what issues do you see with that coming? Because I hear Prime Time talk, and he was sitting there and he was talking about, with this NIL, do you see these kids being the face of a brand? Like, you don't really see them being the face. He was saying, like, NIL just sometimes comes in the form of boosters paying the school so the kid could, have the extra 20 G's or whatever the case may be. I just want to get your thoughts on the NIL and maybe what you see for the future of NIL.
Right now, because since it's so early, it is the wild, wild west. Like, kind of, it's not a lot of rules and regulations. They trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But me personally, for the athlete, I think it's a good thing because it shows them how to run a business. Like, it shows them how to be businessmen early. Like, and like I say, like one of my players that played for Clemson, he made over 6 figures last year, and now he's not even playing football no more. He's still taking them deals on and still sitting in the 6-figure range and getting more. So, like, it could be a platform to after graduation. I think it's just so many ways you can look at it in a positive way that, the negative stuff, like, I think the negative part of, of course, a young kid getting a lot of money, but a lot of these kids, like, not gonna get all that money. Like, only certain kids gonna get that top money. The other kids only gonna get like $500, $1,000. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not gonna be
look play money.
Right, but in college that's good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because you
in college, exactly. So now, you know what I mean? They happy. So like, I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. You know what I mean? But I think every athlete needs to have them a team. They need to have that accountant. They need to have a lawyer. They need to have an agent. They need to have a representation team.
Yeah.
So no, for sure. So yeah, it's some negatives, but I think it's positive. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where the positive outweigh the negative. Like you said, I think right now it's the wild, wild west. So I feel like a lot of these guys need to probably, if you smart, take advantage of that before they put in all the restrictions and all this extra stuff. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and make your bread while you can, because I know they're gonna come down with some restrictions. It's gonna come down. But
for sure.
I also think that, maybe the bad part, not a bad part, but just it's gonna allow these guys to grow up a lot quicker, and they're gonna. But I think it's in the right direction. I think everyone should know how to manage their money and run a business and learn the legal side. Like, you getting all this money, but let's not forget about taxes and
See, they learning all that earlier.
Yeah, earlier. It's gonna set them up, later. So I think if you look at it as like a learning tool, I think it's gonna be a great benefit, and the guys are really going, it's gonna help them in the long run, especially for these top guys to be able to learn how to handle that money. As far as like all the extra naysayers out there, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I know it's people that be like, why are these kids, getting paid? There's other college students there, but at the same time, you got to understand what drives the revenue, and you know what I'm saying. Like, if you know you're a big part of driving school revenue and you ain't seeing a dime from it,
exactly,
I'd be upset about that too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Nah.
Word, man. Well, bro, it's been a great conversation, bro. I learned a lot from you, man. No lie.
I appreciate it.
And I really want to, with this conversation, man, I really feel like, just for me personally, I want to tap in more with you and just kind of, ask questions if I can, and just, any way I can, just, like I said, any way I can help you, help your guys, any way, I just want to soak up, you know what I mean? Any type of information.
Yeah, any way I can help you too, man. Just holler at me. Like, you got my number.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So, I hit you back. So for sure, any way I can help you, just holler at me, and I definitely hit you, because I feel like I can learn something from everybody. Yeah. And definitely a lot of people, you know what I mean? So I definitely want to tap in. We can network together.
We could definitely do that, man. The last thing I need is just a recommendation, bro. Like, I need 1 to 2 recommendations of people that you feel like is dope for the podcast. Somebody that can really, you know what I'm saying, just fit the mold and give maybe a different perspective.
I know. I think you should interview Brandon Williams.
Okay.
Who else, man? You kind of hit me on the spot. I know I'm gonna get off of this. I'm like, I should have said.
It's all good. What you can do, you gave me 1. That's all I need. 1 for right now.
I'm gonna say somebody else though, because I'm gonna give them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you one more. Try to get ain't no try we're gonna get. Try to get shit. We need to get somebody in politics, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know who, maybe Bunt Roddy or somebody. Yeah, Jabril. Yeah. Get Jabril. No, get Jabril.
Okay.
Get Jabril.
Big Jabril. That's my dog.
Jabril's a big help. Like, that's a big help for me. Like, I talk to him every other day. Like, get Jabril. Get Jabril.
That's my dog for sure. All right. Well, look, this is what we're gonna do, man. Once we get off, man, if you could just shoot me their contact information, all right? Shoot me their contact info. I'm gonna reach out to him, be like, hey, let me get it, cause I follow Jabril on Instagram, but I need to get his number, man, if I can get it. But
I can shoot it to you.
Yeah, just shoot me their contact. We're gonna get them on the show, and we're gonna chop it up with them boys. But bro, I appreciate you again, man. Like I said, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know. We here to support, bro, and I want nothing but success, bro. I want StarCrossManagement to be the top of the top, having the best athletes, doing the best business, and just being a 5-star business, bro. And I know you can do it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you having me, man. And I know Big Boss Talk, #1 podcast, is going to go up, man. Keep putting that grind in, bro. It's going to pay off.
It's going to pay off, man. Well, I'm going to let you get back to it, man. Get home safe, and then I'm going to holler at you, all right?
All right. Appreciate you, fam.
All right, bet, dog.